Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Chairman, Madam Vice Chairman, and members of the board, my name is Debbie Filippi, and I'm a resident of Mason District. I represent a coalition of communities in the landmark Fairfax County area where over 75,000 residents are in grave danger. We reside adjacent or in close proximity to the revised northern terminus of the Interstate 95 Express Lanes project at Edsel Road, and therefore will be exposed to toxic levels of pollutants resulting from increased traffic on this ramp. The Virginia Department of Transportation has failed to conduct a local analysis that explored the air quality and other environmental impacts on this Edsel Road ramp will pose on these residents. We find that to be deplorable given the extreme risk this ramp poses to public health. While we understand that this is a state project, as our county representatives, we ask for your immediate assistance in getting the ramp construction delayed in this matter before the Governor and the Secretary of Transportation in an effort to correct these VDOT missteps. When VDOT changed the original terminus, which was in Arlington County, to Fairfax County at Edsel Road, this was resulting from a pending lawsuit. They failed to conduct a local impact assessment required by the National Environmental Protection Act that would have addressed the air quality impacts amongst other environmental issues. As a result, we commissioned our own air quality analysis, paid for it out of our own pockets to the tune of over $60,000, using nationally recognized experts and VDOT's data to determine the scope and the intensity of the pollutant emissions that will be specific to this area. The results clearly show that the Terminus project will exceed the maximum allowable levels of pollutants, nitrogen dioxide and particulate matter 2.5, for health safety as determined by the EPA. These pollutants will adversely affect all of the residential and recreational areas immediately adjacent to the Terminus area. This is a violation of VDOT's duty to the public to ensure that their actions do not contribute to violations of these standards or to the deterioration of our air quality. Furthermore, this project should not be driven solely by transportation efficiency or agency convenience without regard for public health and welfare. Accordingly, VDOT should be compelled to embrace its duty to the public and undertake an area-wide comprehensive impact analysis surrounding the construction of this ramp. Let me be clear, we are not against the I-95 Express Lanes project. We are against building this ramp in the absence of critical information resulting from VDOT's due diligence in support of public health. As our county representatives, please help us obtain the attention and the action from the Governor and the Secretary of Transportation to do the right thing by its citizens. You can be assured that left unresolved, this problem will manifest itself in lawsuits and health issues later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah.
Madam Chairman.
Supervisor McKay.
I may ask a question because I've read the letter, and I think there's probably many reasons why this project doesn't go to Arlington County, not just the lawsuit, but there were some other financial considerations. But you mentioned in here that they failed to conduct a local impact assessment when the terminus was changed. Have you raised that issue specifically and directly with VDOT or the Governor, and have you gotten a response to that?
Sir, we've written several letters to the Governor, the Secretary of Transportation, a number of representatives. We have done so as well with VDOT. We get a pat response, if you will, because a number of the citizens as well as associations have done this. Their claim is that they did an analysis, a regional analysis, which stretches about 29 miles of the project. As you might imagine, regional analysis does not give you a clear indication of what an impact of the traffic standing on the ramp will do to the residents that are in the surrounding area. That's what we're asking them to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, our next two speakers are Steve Hasty and Richard Newman, and I understand they may like to switch places. Mr. Newman, you would be first.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Andre Newman. I am the president of the Jefferson Green Homeowners Association, and I've been a resident of the Edsel Road corridor for 47 years. I'm part of the same group that Debbie Filippi is with, the concerned residents of Landmark. Our group has some genuine concerns about the health aspects of the planned terminus at Etzel Road, or at Turkey Cock Run. As it was touched on by Supervisor McKay, they are required to do a local impact study on the environmental aspects of this ramp, not a aggregate over the 30 miles stretch of this project. If you look at the first page of what I have presented you, you see the little green dots on that page represent where the air sensors, the closest air sensors to the actual terminus. That is a full 3+ miles away from where the planned terminus is. That's as close to our site as these sensors were placed. When they were placed there, the intent was not for the terminus to end at that site. It was for the traffic to continue further down the road. The aspect of that is where the terminus is now planned is inside the Beltway, inside Etzel Road, where the daily congestion choke point is for most of the traffic going into DC. That's where the traffic backs up every day on a daily basis. Where the study is an open area with very few residential homes around it, and the traffic continues to move there. Traffic is typically moving up to that point at speed. If you look at the next page there, the little pink dot by the mixing bowl represents the same spot where they considered that's considered exit 1. Where the actual terminus is planned is almost off that page, and you can see the increased density of residential properties in that same space, and that doesn't even go into what's just slightly to the right of that in Alexandria. This is a significantly more densely populated area than was originally planned, and incidentally, their sensors were planned before the potential sound wall that they now want to put up was planned. Just on the overlook property alone, VDOT has reached out to them and asked for 8 acres of trees to be torn down just to put the sound wall up.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. And Mr. Hasty?
Madam Chairman, members of the council, my name is Steve Hasty. I'm a 25-year resident, 100% disabled veteran. I spent 40 years in the Marine Corps fighting for my homeland and my troops, and today I'm fighting for my home and my neighbors. I've got a dog in this fight. This is a public health issue, make no mistake about it. It affects tens of thousands of your constituents. VDOT has not done their due diligence, despite any statements they make to the contrary. They have not done an analysis of alternatives. We have filed a FOIA request for any documents pertaining to alternatives that they had. They came back with nothing. They have not done a local environmental analysis. The only study done was the one that we, the citizens, commissioned and paid for out of our own pockets. The Virginia Department of Environmental Quality does not review VDOT projects. VDOT essentially grades its own work, and they grade themselves on a generous curve. In conversations with local officials, we're told that this is a state issue. Shoulders are shrugged, and we are advised to get a lawyer and litigate the issues. Well, that's not off the table, but it begs the question, if the answer is for the citizens to buy justice, then what is the point of our public officials? We could dispense with them and just hire lawyers for every issue that comes along. We're your constituents. We ask you to weigh in with the state on our behalf. Ask VDOT the hard questions. Help us delay this ramp until the alternative analysis are done and a local environmental study is completed. If our study is wrong, then have VDOT prove it. But right now, it's the only thing on the table, and it represents a public health hazard to your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hasty. And I know that Mark Thomas in my office has I think, been meeting with you and reaching out to you, and of course, we're glad to continue to do so. I'll ask once again if Nils Bjork is here with us.